can I just say one thing about this? This is why I really do like the NFL over baseball.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't just go out and buy a team and a playoff spot every damn year, right?
No. True.
Dodgers do it every year. They're stacked.
Mm-hmm.
And all these other teams, they're stacked, but you have to play around with these numbers and make it work financially. And make no mistake about it, it's a business. And the Chiefs right now, they're kind of up to their debt and up to their gills in debt right now at this moment. So it's given them an inability to really improve, but it's given the other teams in the AFC West an opportunity to improve and actually catch up to them, which is pretty exciting.
Hey guys, welcome to the Bolt Bros. We're gonna talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and what their moves have been so far in the free agency, and just kind of talk about what we think that their moves have been and give them a little grade. And let's just get into it. Bolt Bros, let's go!
Bolt Bros. Woo!
We always laugh at that every time.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Every time.
All right. Well, I mean, they've been pretty quiet. Let's just say that. I mean, their biggest splash that they made was just recently. Obviously, talking about the offense first, Juju Smith-Schuster. And I think that was actually a pretty good pickup, to be honest.
Well, now you got Juju Smith-Schuster, the TikToker, and now you got Patrick Mahomes' brother to do TikToks together, so they can do a lot of TikToking before and after games.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, man! I watched some video about Mahomes' brother. Man, that guy's a clown, dude. And
oh my gosh,
his fiance's a mess too. I don't even know what to think about that. But anyways,
that's true.
Whole nother side conversation there.
Well, there's a whole lot of controversy behind that. Like there was a lot of talk.
Yeah, for
about
sure.
He was saying that to his brother, "It's like I can't have you at my games, man." He
he didn't come to the bachelor party.
That's right.
At all. Yeah,
wow,
I mean,
that's crazy. Yeah,
you didn't hear about that? Oh no,
I didn't hear about that.
Man.
Dang.
Yeah, dude. That guy just a clown. I just look at that guy and go, man, dude. Well, let's go. Let's talk a little bit about the Chiefs. I mean, hey, so we were just talking about this, James, just a few seconds ago. Is that it kind of backs them in the corner, right? When they've had these Super Bowl runs, they're so peaked out on talent and money. I mean, we had to restructure a number of different contracts. You can't make a lot of moves at that point, right? You're kind of stuck. And so, hey, the Chiefs have got to make it with what they got. They have a couple of key injuries, and it could be pretty bad for them, right? So you got to wonder how that's going to play out for them this next year.
True.
Yeah, it's interesting because even at their salary cap at this moment after the Juju Smith-Schuster contract and then the restructured Frank Clark contract, they're still over almost $1 million of the salary cap. I mean, the thing is though, they have a ton of talent on the team. They just can't expand on anything anymore.
They can't.
And I mean, that's why these other three teams, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, were like, man, we got to make a ton of moves. I mean, I think it was Tom Telesco on Pat McAfee's show. What did he say? When water rise, ships rise. And so basically it's like, maybe I got that wrong, but basically it's like all the teams are starting to rise up even more and more and more, and they're evening out too.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a little difficult for, I think, the Chiefs this year to be able to really do what they've been doing to all these teams. I don't think the Broncos have beat the Chiefs in like 8 years. Something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And
let's take a look.
It's something crazy like that. But it's going to be a tough year for them. I think it's going to be just a lot more competitive all around for these guys. So, I don't know. What's your thoughts?
I will say this, right? They did lose Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger.
Mm-hmm.
Byron Pringle. Look, they're a championship team, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? And their staff has been with each other a long time. I don't think they're going to have a hard time being competitive in the league, right? Unless the wheels really fall off for these guys and have a ton of injuries. But at the end of the day, they're going to be competitive this next year. And look, that's who everybody's chasing in the AFC best right now, right? We're all chasing the Chiefs.
True.
And it is what it is, right? Because we've got to be competitive against them, and now all the other teams in the league. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens this next year. I mean, I don't know. I'm really curious to see what they end up doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with them, and obviously with their salary cap issues, I mean, the draft is always a key for them. I mean, they're not going to go out and make some big splash somewhere or whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, the Juju Smith-Schuster contract is a lot smaller than what they initially said it was. I think it was like 10-something million or whatnot. But if you really break it down, it was much smaller than that. So, it's just going to be an interesting thing. They're going to be a young team on defense. I mean, even their defense was like 27th ranked last year.
Yeah,
I mean,
it wasn't great.
remember the beginning first half of the year, they were losing constantly, and then they kind of figured things out later on.
Yeah, they were a whole other team that second half for sure.
Completely different.
But you're right though. By the way, the Broncos have not beat the Chiefs since 2015.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Long time.
That's a long time.
I mean, it's insane to see that. I mean, even to say with us and the Chargers, like Andy Reid's kind of had our numbers for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And, the talent in the division has really grown. And so I think that a lot of people I don't think it's going to be those same Chiefs this upcoming year. So, I mean, they're going to be a young defense. I mean, they're going to probably pick up a lot of people through the draft. I mean, we all know what they are offensively, though. Yes. I mean, you got your Mahomes, your Tyreek Hill, your Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They have those talented guys. Now, those are the big contract guys, and I don't know if they're going to be some renegotiation to the contract where they're going to kick the can down the road and maybe open up some cap space because they need money for draft picks.
Yeah.
But, I mean, those are the guys. Those are the key guys. Can we find a way to stop them once again? I don't know. They got
it's interesting. We're talking the biggest issue with the Chiefs now is just them spending money, right? And a lot of people keep talking about the salary cap as a myth. You look at the Saints. The Saints freed up $75 million or some ungodly amount.
$100 million. Yeah,
was it $100 million?
It was something crazy like that.
I remember reading an article. I'm like, what in the hell? How did they do that? But all they were doing is kicking the can down the road. Hey, look. Okay, we'll pay you $15 million this year. We'll pay you $25 million next year. Yeah. And all you're doing is just making that debt bigger and bigger every year down the road. Yeah. So you're kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? Yeah. And that's what again, and this is – can I just say one thing about this? This is why I really do like the NFL over baseball.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't just go out and buy a team and a playoff spot every damn year, right?
No. True.
Dodgers do it every year. They're stacked. And all these other teams, they're stacked, but you have to play around with these numbers and make it work financially. And make no mistake about it, it's a business. And the Chiefs right now, they're kind of up to their debt and up to their gills in debt right now at this moment. So it's given them an inability to really improve, but it's given the other teams in the AFC West an opportunity to improve and actually catch up to them, which is pretty exciting.
But that is exactly why the NFL is so good, because it balances out like that, And the truth is, the NHL, actually, to jump sports a little bit, does the exact same thing. Like,
true.
It's very rare for a hockey team to actually have repeat championships. And obviously, and it's great though, because it balances the whole thing, like the whole wheel kind of circles around, So I like that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think today and I keep referring a lot to the Pat McAfee show because I like to watch and just kind of hear their insights. And they talk about NFL all year and everything, but they kind of talked a lot about that. The salary cap constantly is growing every single year in increments. And they talked about, what if all these big businesses start getting involved, Google, your Amazons, and all these different things that start throwing a lot of money in there? How will that adjust the salary cap? Because maybe would it go to an MLB type situation where it's just like a very open, you could just buy basically a team, or not really have any salary cap restrictions, just maybe a little bit of like a tax bill at the end of the year because you went over a certain point or whatnot, but you could still keep going and buy whatever player you want. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Now, that's very hypothetical, but it could possibly get to that point to where salary cap's going to mean nothing at all. And it still kind of already seems that way right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's interesting to see because, I mean, I think that these teams like the Chiefs right now, they're kind of in a position that they're like, well, we have the talent on our team and we just got hopefully we make it work again.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll find something in the draft because maybe we'll find a couple gems there. And They probably will. They probably will find some people there, but I don't know. It's going to be an interesting season for them.
Yeah, no, and they're in a unique position, right? All they really need is depth at this point. They have plenty of talent across the board. They need depth for injuries, for issues coming up with players, and so on and so forth. And so, yeah, they're in definitely a unique position, and everyone's chasing them. So, let me give the Chiefs a grade here. I'd give them a C- at best. Actually, I'd probably give them less than that. Actually, I'd say a D+, just because they signed one player, really, in my opinion. But again, they are a bit limited because, they're capped out, and they've been capped out. And so, again, they got to go with their team, and can they make a run? Who knows, right? So I give them a pretty low rating. I would say C-, D+ at best.
Yeah, and that seems pretty fair because, they really can't make moves. Last year they did have a 5th-ranked O-line in the NFL. Obviously that line is what makes that offense work, in my opinion. Their defense, personally, I don't think is going to get any better than what it was last year. I think it potentially could get worse for them.
They lost Honey Badger.
They lost Honey Badger, yeah. And, they got Chris Jones up front and everything. They still got Frank Clark up front. But it just seems like there's just a lot of holes going in that defense. So, it's a tough situation for them. They did win a Super Bowl. Sometimes these teams go all in, and then they win a Super Bowl, and then they kind of digress and kind of get worse over time. It'll be interesting to see how the Rams go after their first Super Bowl win last year. So, D+ seems pretty good to me. They did get some good draft picks like this Creed Humphrey, their center. He's a stud that they drafted last year. Maybe they'll hit another home run in the offensive line or offense or defense or something like that. So, but D+ I think is kind of a safe bet.
Okay.
Great.
All right.
Well, I guess in with the old and in with the new, I guess, because they got Justin Reed to fill the hole for Honey Badger a little bit. And then they held on to one of their pretty good tackles, Orlando Brown.
He was good.
Yes, to keep protecting Patrick Mahomes as much. And I don't know. I think you guys might be a little bit too harsh on this one though, because there is a lot to be said about having a consistent team. Sure, they are losing a couple players, but they also are retaining a lot of players. And obviously, we all do know that the big contract for Patrick Mahomes is going to bleed them dry.
Yes, it will.
Unless they restructure it again, But I think honestly, I'd actually give them I would say B-.
B-, huh?
Yeah,
wow.
just because they are they're the Chiefs. They are the top of our division, and they know what they're doing, I feel like. And I feel like they're actually still going to be able to be contenders in the division, even though they haven't really made many moves. But the truth is, they didn't really need to. So and they got their draft picks, even though I think their first round pick is in the 30th. Maybe they can make a move in the draft to get up on the board if they need to find somebody. I can't imagine that they would want to get another wide receiver. Maybe they can find someone running back, but that's always a risky move to do that first round, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
I guess one last thought, and then we can move on. I'll say this too. The argument also can be made is, we know what they're going to be providing in the AFC West, right?
Right.
We already know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
We already know their game plan. We already understand what they're doing. And all of these teams in the AFC are doing what? They're game planning for the Chiefs.
Yes.
Yep.
And they're picking up pieces that they know that can destroy the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in that mantle position, it's tough to stay on top, right? Yeah. And again, I hate to bring up Tom Brady and the Patriots, but I tell you what, you got to respect what they've done.
Yeah.
And again, we know this is the best division in the NFL, hands down.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs are our target. They have the target on their back. They had it last year. They definitely have it this year. And it's going to be competitive, guys. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be a good one.
And sub, Bolt Bros.
Let's go.
Bolt Bros.
Then this last week in this tournament for pickleball, we were like, well, let's kind of go in the intermediate beginner kind of, because we're like, I don't know where we're really at kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we went into that division and we just smoked everybody, dude. And
Yep.
so we ended up getting first place and winning like $100 or something like that. And
that's what I would. I would just keep doing the intermediate for a while.
just keep going.
Just keep smoking.